So when they said, okay, your kids can come back to school, but everyone has to wear a mask, I saw that email and I went, yeah, no, my kids ain't wearing a mask. So I emailed the principal and I said, my kids are coming back to school, but they're not going to be wearing a mask. And they said, well, then they won't be allowed to come into school. And so I sat there for about an hour. I have a computer just like everybody else, and I can look stuff up too. So I was curious. I said, well, I know I've heard Peter McCullough and Robert Malone and Simone Gold, all these PhD doctors say that if you can smell dinner through your mask, you smell dinner cooking through your mask, it is not stopping the virus. And what they mean by that is a scent particle is larger than the virus particle.
Yeah.
So if you can smell that, it's coming right through. So I go on the FDA's website and I look it up. What's their stance on a mask when it comes to stopping the transmission of a virus? And here's what it says. A mask is considered an experimental medical device when it comes to stopping the transmission of a virus. Experimental. Then I go on the CDC's website. It says basically the same thing. So I copy and paste that and put the links to it in this email. And then I went and pulled the Nuremberg Code, and I printed the whole Nuremberg Code off and put that on that. And the first thing the Nuremberg Code says is you cannot coerce, force, threaten, all these words, another human being to undergo a what? Experimental medical procedure. You cannot do that to another human being against their will. You can't con them into it, threaten them into it, force them into it. You cannot do it. And so I printed that. And then at the bottom I said, my kids will be coming to school without wearing masks. They do not consent to this experiment of wearing a mask to stop the virus. P.S. The penalty for violating the Nuremberg Code was death. John Rich.
John Rich.
30 minutes after I send this email, I get an email back with an opt-out form. That all I have to do is fill out this opt-out form, and my kid doesn't have to wear a mask when they go back to school. So guess what I did? I downloaded the opt-out form and I emailed it to about 900 other dads. I said, all you got to do is fill out this form if you don't want your kid to wear a mask. And so they all, I don't know how many, it was the vast majority, filled it out. And their kids come walking into school, here you go, and turned in their opt-out forms, and they didn't wear masks, and the conversation was over. Oh. So the lesson is, these people that run things generally do not want to deal with you like that.
They don't.
If you look them dead in the eye and you say, no, now what? Especially if you say no and go, here's why.
Yes.
And if you force us to do what I'm telling you I'm not going to do, here's what's going to happen to you. So when they said, okay, your kids can come back to school, but everyone has to wear a mask, I saw